Hello to all my college football fans and friends out there. Welcome to another sports edition of the Buckeye Vinny YouTube channel sports show. My friends, sit back, relax, and I got to tell you, college football is heating up. And what a second round matchup we have. We have number 3 seed, the Georgia Bulldogs, coming in 12-1 and SEC champions, taking on the number 6 seed Ole Miss, coming in also at 12-1, just finishing off last week Tulane, pummeling Tulane 41-10 in the first round of the college football 2025 playoffs. You know, my friends, very interesting matchup here. These two teams went at it earlier this season in Sanford Stadium. And what more can you say? The Georgia Bulldogs, in comeback fashion, defeated Ole Miss 43-35. It was a tough game for Georgia, but they made the plays down the stretch when they needed to. And like I mentioned, they came back and defeated a very good Ole Miss team earlier this season. Now, when you look at head-to-head matchup, the Georgia Bulldogs holds the all-time series, 34 wins, 14 losses, and 1 tie. And my friends, when you look overall, starting with the Georgia Bulldogs, they come in averaging total offense 407 yards of total offense per game. Defensively, they give up right around 284 yards of total yardage per game to their opponents. Not bad at all. When you look at the rushing attack for Georgia, what more can you say? They average 187 rushing yards per game. Defensively, a stingy, only giving up to their opponents' rushers only 79 rushing yards a game to their opponents. What more can you say? Offensively, Georgia comes in averaging 32 points per game offensively. Defensively, a stingy 15 points per game given up on defense. And my friends, I look at this team, the last 4 games for the Georgia Bulldogs, they've only given up 29 points in the last 4 games. That is amazing if you stop and look at it. Total amazing. They only gave up 10 points to the Texas Longhorns when they played. They only gave up 7 points to Alabama in the SEC championship. They gave up only 9 to Georgia Tech, a Georgia Tech team that came in averaging 37 points per game. And Georgia stymied them to just 9 points, and they gave up only a field goal to Charlotte. They are led by signal caller the Gunner Stockton. Gunner completing 71% of his passes, 23 touchdown strikes, only 5 interceptions this season. He's thrown for 2,691 yards and also tack on 8 rushing touchdowns. They are led by featured running back Nate Frazier, 861 yards on the ground, a very impressive 5.4 yard per carry average, and 6 rushing touchdowns. And how about Chauncey Bowens? He's done a nice job this year. Bowens, 516 rushing yards, 5.3 yard per carry average, and 6 rushing touchdowns. And the quarterback, Gunner, 442 rushing yards on the season and 8 rushing touchdowns. My friends, the quarterback leads the team with 8 rushing touchdowns. So, my friends, I thought that without a doubt, the Gunner has done a nice job managing this offense very well. Let's not forget about skilled set position receivers. Zachariah Branch, 73 receptions for 744 receiving yards, 5 receiving touchdowns. Dylan Bell, 21 grabs, 2 touchdowns. Noah Thomas, 4 receiving touchdowns. And Lawson Lucky, also with 4 receiving touchdowns. My friends, what I love most about Gunner Stockton is I like the way he spreads the ball around to the splendid wide receivers for the Dogs. Instead of just focusing on just 1 or 2 receivers, no. He likes to get every receiver involved. And it's going to be a very interesting matchup. Like I mentioned, the last time these two teams played, okay, in Athens, Georgia, Georgia rushed for 221 yards on the night. Gunner threw 4 touchdowns against Ole Miss and also rushed for a touchdown. So he accounted for 5 of Georgia's touchdowns the last time they played. Can Ole Miss stop Gunner and the rushing attack once again? I don't know. It's going to be a very interesting game. Defensively, I look at this team. They are led by linebackers C.J. Allen and Raylan Wilson. C.J. Allen leads the team, 83 tackles. Raylan Wilson, 68 tackles. K.J. Bolden, 65 tackles on the season. And how about Chris Cole? 48 tackles and 4.5 sacks. And C.J. Allen pitches in with 3.5 sacks. So, my friends, this defense is the real deal, obviously. You know, when you can hold Texas, a team that also averaged around 36 a game, to just 10 points, and then you hold Alabama, who came in that SEC championship, averaging 35 points a game, and you held them to just a touchdown, that defense is doing something right, without a doubt. Now, my friends, switching over to the 6th seed Ole Miss. And my hats off goes to Pete Golden, getting his first career win in college, filling in, obviously, as the new head coach, being that Lane Kiffin departure to LSU. Ole Miss, what more can you say? They did a very nice job against Tulane, a game that I predicted that game would not have been close, and it was not. We're talking about an offense that averages 37 points per game. This team is dangerous, my friends. This is an offense that could score at you at will. They could score anywhere on the field. Okay, this is the type of offense that could score in just 2 or 3 plays, or this is an offense that can just continue to move the ball on an 8, 9, or 10 play drive and beat you that way also. Like I mentioned, offensively, they put up 37 points a game. Defensively, they give up a respectful 19 points per game. Offensively, total offense for Ole Miss, my friends, this team can move the ball. They average 498 yards of total offense. Defensively, for me, they give up a little too many yards. They give up 340 yards to their opponents in total defense given up. Rushing, very similar to the Georgia Dawgs. They love to rush the ball. Rushing, they average 186 rushing yards per game. Defensively, they give up 148 rushing yards to their opponents. This is going to be very interesting. A stat, if you're Ole Miss fan, that you should not like, is that Ole Miss defense gives up 4.3 yard per carry average to the opponent's running backs. For me, that is way too high. If you're going to compare that, Georgia only gives up 2.9 yard per carry average to the opponent's rushing attack. So, something to look into. They are led by Trinidad Chambliss. What a job Chambliss has done this season. Completing 67% of his passes, very respectful. 3,298 passing yards on the year. 19 touchdown strikes, only 3 interceptions, my friends, in 13 games. This young man does not turn the ball over. He truly does not. He doesn't force the ball. And why would he force the ball when he has Kewan Lacey, a phenomenal running back for Ole Miss Rebels, 1,366 rushing yards this season, 5.1 yard per carry average, and count them, a tremendous 21 rushing touchdowns on the season. My friends, this is a good running back. Now, last time these two teams faced off in Athens, Georgia, Lacey only had 12 carries for 31 yards. That's it. But he did have 2 rushing touchdowns. They are also led second on the team, Trinidad Chambliss, quarterback, 506 rushing yards, 4.1 yard per carry average, and 8 rushing touchdowns. Now, my friends, what I love about this Ole Miss offense is they have very talented skilled set receivers. Harrison Wallace III leads the team. 48 receptions, 738 receiving yards, and 3 touchdowns. How about Dazon Stribling? 43 grabs, 612 receiving yards, 6 touchdown grabs. Deuce Alexander, 41 grabs for 664 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns. Caden Lee, 35 grabs, 3 touchdowns. And Daquan Wright, 34 grabs for 553 and 4 receiving touchdowns. My friends, very similar, okay, to the Georgia Bulldogs quarterback, is that Chambliss loves to get all his receivers involved. Okay, I love the way Trinidad spreads the football around to 5 very good wide receivers. And as you can see, you just don't have 1 or 2 receivers with 80 receptions and the rest with only 20 or 25. I love the way that he spreads the ball around. Wallace III, 48 grabs. Stribling, 43. Alexander, 41. Caden Lee, 35 grabs. And Daquan Wright, 34 grabs. This is a very well-balanced offense. Very, very well-balanced. They're not one-dimensional. Both of these teams have quarterbacks that are dual threat, okay? You have Gunner that leads his team with 8 rushing touchdowns. And you have Chambliss second on the team in rushing yards and rushing touchdowns with 8 and 506 rushing yards for Chambliss on the season. So, my friends, this is going to be a very interesting football game without a doubt. It really is. I look at this. Last time they played, Trinidad had a very good game. He passed for 263 yards in the air against Georgia last time they faced off. 1 touchdown strike, 2 rushing touchdowns. What more can you say? 2 very talented SEC foes going at it in the second round of the college football playoffs. I am not going to give any prediction. I'm going to save that for another video. This is just my Ole Miss versus Georgia in the Sugar Bowl preview prediction. And my friends, like I mentioned, last time these 2 teams played, what a whale of a game it was. It came right down to the very end. Georgia must stop Chambliss, without a doubt. Chambliss is a very good quarterback. Okay, he could beat you running. He could beat you with his legs. On the flip side, Ole Miss must stop Georgia's rushing attack. I mentioned last time these 2 teams faced off, Georgia had ended up rushing for 221 rushing yards last time these 2 teams played. And for me, that was the big turning point. Anytime you can establish the running attack, that opens up Gunner Stockton and his passing attack. And it did just that the first time they played. Gunner, 4 touchdown passes the first time these 2 teams met. So it's going to come down to the defense, my friends, to be very honest. It's going to come down to the offensive line of Georgia opening up holes for the running backs and protecting Gunner against Ole Miss's big, strong defensive line. It's going to be a very interesting game, to say the least. I will say this, though, that the Georgia Bulldogs are a very hot team right now. They have won 9 straight games in a row, and also SEC champions once again when they knocked off Alabama, cruising past Bama in the SEC championship 28-7. My friends, it's going to be a very classic matchup between these 2 teams. Like I mentioned, last time, the Rebels jumped right out of the gate, like a thoroughbred right out of the gate. And I think at home at the time, Georgia didn't know what hit them. I think this time, Coach Kirby Smart's going to be on to Ole Miss. Let's be honest, it was the 4th quarter rally by the Bulldogs that pulled this game out. If you recall, Ole Miss was up 35-26 heading into the 4th quarter, and the Bulldogs just went nuts in the 4th quarter, outscoring them 17-0. In fact, Georgia scored the last 17 points of the game to go on to win 43-35. So, my friends, bottom line, this is going to be a classic SEC matchup. Like I said, I'm doing no prediction. That will be a video that I will save at the end. My friends, if you are new to my channel and you haven't yet subscribed, I welcome you. Buckeye Vinny here does. Please click on the subscribe button. If you like this video, which I hope you do, please click on the like button. Like always, my friends, please check out Super Thanks. And not only do I love to read your comments, but I love to get back to every comment that I do read. So please comment down below. Like always, my friends, from my family to yours, a blessed and safe Merry Christmas. And my friends, let's stop and look at what Christmas is all about. And how, if you are able to do for somebody that is less fortunate, please, by all means, do that. Like always, my friends, peace out. God bless you all. Click on my face right up here to subscribe. And until next time, keep on watching, keep on subscribing, and keep on liking. Buckeye Vinny is out of here.